Hey everybody, it's Allie and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, July 21st, 2019. I was looking forward to Michael versus Adam in an epic battle royale, bad boy versus bad boy. Not Michael interrupts Kevin's perfectly good plan to take Adam down, only to get himself now caught up in Adam's web. Next week is Christian's custody hearing, and apparently all along, Michael's big move has just been putting together a solid case for Nick. Thank you very much. But now he's not even going to do that. At the tail end of Friday's show, Michael is telling Adam that he wants to make a deal with him. And then in the preview for Monday's show, Nick is showing up in court all alone, saying that Michael can't make it. What a total letdown. I would have rather seen Kevin following through with some half-baked plan. I'm so disappointed. Kevin had all of the right stuff. He really could have made something happen here. Early in the week, Adam had shoved Kevin around a little bit too hard, coerces him into delivering some compromising photos of the judge who's overseeing the custody case, getting ready to blackmail the judge in the custody case, tells Kevin that if he doesn't go and deliver these photos to the judge to let him know who's boss, then Adam knows exactly where Chloe and Bella are living, and he's going to call the police. He's going to have Chloe arrested. He's going to have Chloe hauled out right in front of their daughter. So Kevin had better just continue to comply. Kevin had better just bike messenger those files right over to the judge with his little backpack on. Why is Kevin wearing a backpack? Why is he jogging around Genoa City every time I see him wearing a backpack like he's Dora the Explorer? Just get a freaking laptop case. If you have so much stuff that you need to carry around due to your hacking, get a laptop case. Oh, he does just look like a little schoolboy in the backpack. Kevin is giving me schoolboy vibes, which works, I guess, considering he's just Adam's little pet, an unwilling, unwanting pet. Well, Kevin had kind of a good idea. Instead of couriering those photos on Adam's behalf to the judge, Kevin secretly takes a photo of the photos instead, thinking that he can go to the police, get Adam busted, maybe get Adam imprisoned, and then everything would work out for everybody who's against Adam or who feels that Adam is torturing them. Adam would go to prison, Nick would win custody of Christian, Chloe and Bella would be safe. Kevin has already moved Chloe and Bella to a safe house. It seems like a plan that was gonna work. It sounded really good to me. But no. Michael says that Kevin's plan is not good enough, apparently. Michael follows Kevin to Adam's apartment where Kevin is breaking in. And Kevin brings Michael up to speed on everything that's going on, what his plan is. Michael decides to take those photos, and while giving Kevin a hilariously entertaining piggyback ride through Adam's apartment, Michael manages to delete the photos that Kevin took of Adam's photos. Michael keeps the hard copy of the photos, tells Kevin to just trust him, he knows what he's doing, he's gonna be taking over from here. And And the next thing we know, Adam is coming home and Michael is just kicking back on Adam's couch with a drink in his hand, perusing through the hard copies of those photos casually. It was a great moment. It had all of the makings of a mastermind power play from Michael about to happen. But then Michael just gave Adam back the upper hand. Tells Adam that he doesn't want to see Kevin get into any more trouble. He doesn't want to see his brother do something that's going to ruin his life. So Michael's now taking over, and Michael is willing to make a deal with Adam. What? Why? Michael, you guys had Adam right where you wanted him. What bargain can you possibly make with Adam right now that he is going to be inclined to keep? Do you know who had a bargain with Adam? Kevin. Kevin's been going through this exact thing for weeks. Do what Adam wanted, and then Adam wouldn't bust Chloe. So what has Adam done? At every twist and turn along the road, he's reneged on that deal, reneged on that bargain. Every chance he's gotten, Adam has pushed the finish line further and further away. What makes Michael think that he is going to be any different? Chelsea confronts Adam about the fact that he tried to make it look like to the cops that she killed her own husband. And I found it a little funny that despite Adam doing this to Chelsea and obviously feeling so betrayed by Chelsea, he also saw it as an opportunity to make one final plea to her to get back together. He still wants to be with Chelsea despite anything and everything. Adam claims that the reason he's different now, the reason he's struggling so hard to stay away from the dark side, is because he lost Chelsea and Connor, of course. He says to Chelsea that he needs her in his life in order to keep him balanced. That's a lot of baggage to heap onto your significant other. Love me, be with me, stay with me so that I can keep myself balanced. That's not really fair. And Chelsea felt that way too. She turned him down. But it's also not really fair of Chelsea to be staying with Nick when she could be staying in a hotel, to be going to his family dinner party like she's his girlfriend, dressed like a beautiful red Christmas present that Nick would very much like to unwrap. Chelsea knows that Nick has feelings for her. He's been very clear about his support for her, and the look in his eyes says that he wants to ravish her. When she gave him that peck on the cheek at the tail end of Friday's show, he looked like he was totally ready to sweep all of those wine glasses, all of the bottles off of that bar and just hoist her up on top of it and start untying all of those many red bows. I'm getting the impression that Chelsea would have been all for it if she didn't, for some unknown reason, need to keep up the illusion that she is a heartbroken widow whose husband died all of 1 week ago. What is going on with Chelsea? Why is she even in Genoa City right now when she could be home with Connor, who is supposed to be, supposedly, her #1 priority? I'm confused by Chelsea. It occurred to me this week that the one thing that Adam and Chelsea always agreed on in terms of raising Connor was that it was best to keep Connor away from Victor Newman, as far away as possible from Adam's toxic father, toxic family. So why would Chelsea just hand Connor's address, his location at camp, right on over to Victor and let Victor go to visit Connor privately without her, just so long as Victor doesn't accidentally blab to the kid that Adam is still alive? That dumbfounded me. Not only letting Victor see Connor, but letting the man with diminished mental capacity have a one-on-one with your son who doesn't know that his real father is still alive. I could not believe that she would do that. I couldn't even believe that she would sit down to dine with the Victor Newman family. She went to the Newman family dinner and then later commented to Nick about how comforting she found it to be around all of them. Really? Because haven't you been on the run from Victor, Chelsea, for like the last year now? Looking around every corner, looking behind every bush, hoping to stay away from him? Ooh, I'm looking forward to seeing Sharon and Chelsea coming face to face next week. I've missed Sharon. It was really good to see her face this week. And you know what? I've missed Sharon and Ray. I like Sharon and Ray. Apparently, though, things went sour between them in Las Vegas, and I don't entirely understand why Sharon and Ray are having such a hard time making it work. As far as I can tell, their only problem between them is the fact that they don't agree about Adam. Oh well, so what? That wouldn't even be a big deal if the truth wasn't that Sharon is wildly attracted to Adam and she cannot get her mind off of it. It is despite herself. She is attracted to Adam despite herself. And she realizes that she's close to losing Ray over it. I think she knows it. Plus, Nick told Sharon this week all about Adam's attempted frame-up job on Chelsea, and then there was the whole incident where Adam had eavesdropped on Sharon and Faith's conversation and then followed them to the park where they were meeting Nick with Christian, and Adam was using that as an opportunity to have an interaction with Christian, which would have been nice to see a couple of weeks ago, maybe. Faith was kind of great in those scenes, by the way. Whoever knew that I would become such a big Faith fan? See, I am flexible. My mind can be changed. When a character works, it works. When the show is good, it's good. I live to love it, and I was loving Faith's little quips. She's grown up to be quite a crafty young lady. Well, so Sharon now feels betrayed by Adam, that he would use her, and she tells Adam that she was all wrong about him. He is just as bad as everyone, he's just as bad as everyone is telling her that he is. Yeah, right. She never wants to see him again, blah, blah, blah. You're not fooling anyone, Sharon. And I think it's worth noting that in that scene where Sharon and Adam are having an argument, Adam snaps back at her and he notes that there is a certain anger inside of her, almost like something is rumbling beneath the surface, waiting to boil over. Yeah, I'll say. It's ready to boil over a lot. It must be real hard for Sharon lusting over Adam's long, lean, hunky bod, and then having to go home to Ray's big, beefy bod. Damn, Sharon. Don't be so greedy. Why don't you leave some for everybody else? So Nick will be showing up in court on Monday with no lawyer and no real evidence about Adam's connection to Chance Chancellor. Ray has been investigating Chance at a snail's pace, just in between running through the park with his shirt off. Ray cannot fully devote himself to investigating what's going on with Chance because he needs to be in the gym a whole lot in order to maintain that bod that Sharon finds not enough. Not enough for her. Ray is the perfect man, and Sharon, it's not enough for her. Ray is sweet, he is caring, he is doting, he is loving, he's a family man, he has taken on Faith as if she is his own. He is nothing to shy away from in the physical looks department. Like some of the more subtle looks even that Ray gives with his face. Like he's got personality, he's got body, he's got morals. Ray is the perfect man. Nope. He's not Adam. He is not Adam. He's got a good job. He's smart. I don't know. Ray did do a little bit of extra digging on Chance this week, and he told us a couple more little crumbs. Apparently, Chance has been connected to some dirty dealings, possibly money laundering. It was all very vague, and it was all very, well, I've heard a lot of rumors about the things that Chance could have been connected to. So it doesn't sound solid to me. It all sounds like conjecture. Like the only thing Ray was able to unearth were rumors, different people having comments about Chance. And Ray said he heard a bunch of different stuff. So I don't know. Chance has now disappeared from the Las Vegas scene mysteriously right after Phyllis was there asking questions. And so Ray had some questions of his own for Phyllis this week. He goes into her office, starts asking her questions about Chance. And Phyllis was really shook. She looked really shook after Ray came to visit her. She knows that something bad and shady went down with Chance and with Adam, but she doesn't know what. And Adam isn't telling her either. I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna toss out an idea, a theory that may not be popular and may not be true, but I'm gonna reach for this one. Chance is a bad guy, we're being told now. But how bad? Bad enough to already be in Genoa City? Gaslighting Billy? Billy is having nightmares on a Tuesday. Hey, that's progress. Well, in terms of the story, where we only saw Billy struggling on Fridays and then nothing Monday through Thursday. But now we're really getting somewhere. Nightmares on a Tuesday. It's story progress, but in terms of Billy's mental health, these episodes that he's been having are getting closer together. Early in the week, he dreams that he saw Delia in her Wicked Witch of the West costume that she was wearing the night that she died. And then he also dreams that she has written the word daddy on an end table with ink that is as fresh as day. And then he wakes up and there actually is some writing on the end table, but it's been worn, like it's been there for a while. Little by little, I think Billy's anger toward Adam is consuming him. His grief over having lost his daughter is consuming him. Victoria is oblivious. She's too worried about everything going on at Newman Enterprises to even notice what's going on with her husband. Jill tried talking to him. Kevin tried talking to him. Even Phyllis tried talking to him. And ultimately, I think all that Billy wants is for Adam to pay more. And again. And more. And again, until he's satisfied that Adam has paid enough, which will be never. Never. In the previews of next week's show, Billy is again at the Chancellor Mansion, and he's pulling back the wallpaper, and there's the name Adam written on the wallpaper, and Billy is mumbling, I think, to Kevin about how Delia is trying to tell him something. So either Billy is going insane and he wrote Adam's name on the wall himself in a state of insanity, or someone is trying to make Billy go insane. So I just keep thinking, if Chance is our brand new bad guy and an ally of Adam's, the man whose name is written on the wall, then maybe Chance would want to take aim at someone like Billy who could be a threat to Adam and him and to whatever their partnership would be. Crazy? I don't know. Chance is a chancellor. He would have access to the mansion. He would know how to come and go quietly and as he pleases. Don't worry, everybody. Phyllis has a plan that will fix everything. She just needs to get that hotel up and running first. She just needs to get what she needs and what she wants first. Yes, Phyllis is playing a very intriguing role in all of this. We are seeing her working both sides, ultimately. When it comes to Adam, she was trying to convince him this week to give up the custody battle, do what is best for his son. And she also tries to convince Adam to give up info on Chance and what that connection is. So the implication is almost that she's working for Adam while working against Adam, because she's giving the implication to Billy and to Nick separately that she's just waiting for Adam to slip up so that she can stab him in the back, help them, and also take a part of his business too for herself. I actually think it would be very interesting to see the knife slice in Adam's back come from Phyllis, because she's also becoming a friend to him. There are many instances where she comes off as genuinely trying to help him. So when the knife slice comes from an enemy, you can see it coming. When the knife slice comes from a friend, it cuts both ways. I'm just imagining this Tu Phyllis moment that could be very dramatic and very good. I think it's easy to forget because we had the recast, but when Phyllis was being played by Gina Tognoni, at the end of Gina playing the role, Phyllis had become the town pariah. She was the one that everyone was against. She was in the Adam spot just a few months ago. And it was mostly because she had agreed to testify for the prosecution during JT's murder trial. And now it almost does seem like Phyllis might want to restore her favor with Billy and Nick, and maybe also restore the way she's seen by the town. I'm thinking back to that conversation she had with Christine last week. Again, Christine's she's a little more subtle in the way she's gonna get at you. And I wonder if Christine has made Phyllis start thinking. You know, Christine made the comment about, just because you're involved with Adam and running his company does not get you respect in this town. And I wonder if that's what Phyllis is thinking. I wonder if that resonated with her, and now she is deciding to try to restore some of her favor with Nick and Billy and the Newmans and the Abbotts, and maybe that is what her true agenda is. I'm not sure. At the same time, Phyllis really does need to work on restoring some good favor with her own daughter. And she is trying. I do feel for Phyllis because I think she is trying to fulfill her own agenda, whatever that may be. But I think she also misses the relationship she has with her daughter. And I liked that Phyllis told Summer, hey, what's up with you only wanting me when you need me? And Summer had her own responses to that. You know, your behavior is the problem. You're selfish. All you can think about is your own agenda. You haven't given any kind of real respect and real consideration to me. So I think what we're seeing here is two strong-headed women in Phyllis and Summer who are just not on the same page. They just don't see things and process the world exactly the same way, and yet there are many ways in which they are very similar. I think that Phyllis is probably seeing a younger version of herself and wanting to save Summer from that. Phyllis thinks that Summer can do better than Theo and becoming a social media influencer. And Summer just sees all of the ways that her mom's not being a good mom. And all of the ways that Phyllis is getting involved with the wrong people. Summer thinks that Phyllis is doing deals with the devil in Adam. So it's really just a conflict of viewpoints in a way, and I don't think either one of them is going to budge. This was a week of mother-daughter blow-ups, wasn't it? Summer and Phyllis had their blow-up at the Newman family dinner, and Celeste and Lola had their big blow-up over Mr. Rosales, Adrian Rosales, who I still don't know if we're ever going to see on screen. Sounds like a bad guy. Lola would rather cancel all of her big wedding plans with Kyle and just elope rather than have her father at her own wedding. I can't say I blame her. I don't know Adrian's character. I don't know if he's gonna be a good guy or a bad guy, but he did leave and abandon the family. Like, if I had no father my entire life and then he just tries to show up at my wedding to walk me down the aisle, no. If you want to work on the relationship, maybe have a meeting for some coffee or something, fine, but you don't just get to not participate in my life for my entire life and then jump in for the payoff of getting to walk me down the aisle. No, that would be a tradition that would be reserved for a father who had been present. Yeah, I don't blame Lola at all. Whether her father left the family on his own or whether Celeste kicked him out and kept him away, he had made no efforts to be a part of her life before, so why should he get to now? I do wonder, though, how much Celeste had to do with that. Did she force him to stay away? I think that's a good question. How much of it was Lola's dad and how much of it was Lola's mom? Either way, it makes a little bit more sense now as to why Celeste was so determined to stay with Lola. She's trying to make inroads. She's trying to get close enough to Lola to convince her to make amends with the father, probably because Celeste wants to be a part of Lola's life and Adrian is a part of her life. So she wants to bridge that gap for her own best interest. I am just starting to wonder, though, if there's even gonna be a future for Lola and Kyle. I'm wondering if there's gonna be a wedding or even an elopement for Lola and Kyle. Lola has this annoying fly buzzing around in her life right now, and that fly's name is Theo. Last week I asked you guys, is Theo awesome or is he just annoying? And you're not gonna believe this, but at the time that I had to go and close this poll, it was a 50-50 split. See, I love that. I think that is so great. And that's why I try to make the polls divisive. I gotta make you pick, because otherwise it would be like split 3 ways, and then that doesn't really tell us anything. This tells me that Theo's a good character, that he's a successful character. Half people love him, half people hate him. I mean, if everybody loves him, it's boring, right? But if there's some conflict there, then it's a good conversation for us fans. I voted that I think Theo is mostly awesome. I've been enjoying him. It makes me a little bit nervous, though, that there's so much talk about him being shady, about there being something about Theo. Makes me nervous for Summer, because I really like him and Summer. I think they're an interesting couple. Yeah, there's been so much talk this week about Kyle and Theo's debaucherous past in New York City. Kyle was a trust fund party boy and Theo was his charismatic wingman. And Kyle claims that that's all there was to it. But Theo also seems to be implying that there was something more. He and Kyle were talking with one another, and Theo said something to the effect like, well, don't worry, we know what happened, and our secrets are safe with me. Ooh, what secrets? What secrets are there? Are they mild? Are they big? And do they matter if they happened years and years ago? It's like the fly that's buzzing around you and it lands right on your skin. And you shoo it away, but you look back a couple seconds later because you can still feel it there. And it's not there, you already shooed it away, but you still feel it. That's the question that's on Lola's mind right now. It's been posed, and she's shoot it away, but it's still lingering there. It's not going away now. She can just feel it. She can't get it out of her mind. And she even called Theo to ask him about it. I think that was a weird move. Granted, Kyle was very evasive when she asked him about it directly, but asking Theo just seems desperate to me. And if Lola doesn't trust that Kyle is being honest with her about this, then how can she trust that he is going to be honest with her about things in the future? Bzzz. Who knew the best cure for Jack's restlessness was to just get out of Genoa City? Billy takes it upon himself to book Jack a flight to Paris to see his sister and former sometimes enemy Ashley. I thought it was odd that Billy decided that that was what Jack needed. I didn't think that that was gonna go as well as it did, but it was nice. I liked seeing Jack and Ashley having lunch and wine and talking like they used to before they were bitter rivals. And even the business rivalry that they have seemed to fall into its appropriate place. Ashley took Jack to her offices at My Beauty. She showed him around the campus. They were laughing about how all of the employees were gagging as Ashley walked their main competition through the plant. I mean, good. You know, a business rivalry is one thing. It can exist independent of the personal relationship, and now it seems that it has. At first, I was skeptical about how quickly they seemed to just sweep everything under the rug, especially after last year. I mean, everything that she did to manipulate him in his paternity search, and then him stealing those patents from her, or trying to steal the patents from her. I mean, it was a big mess. It was a big, deep wound. And at first I was really skeptical about how quickly they were able to turn it around. But then Ashley started talking about how coming to Paris was healing for her. I mean, it doesn't mean that the wounds aren't still there, but she was saying that being in Paris, just taking herself off of the hamster wheel that was life and competition and Jabot and Genoa City, it was really helpful to her in learning how to heal and move forward. And I thought that was really great and really smart, and maybe now it's time for Jack to do the same. He brought up, this was surprising to me, he brought back up those dreams that he was having of Dina, where Dina was pressing him to talk, to figure out what it was he wanted. And maybe Paris is what it was. Maybe Paris is where he found it. Or maybe it's not so much about what Jack wanted, but maybe it was about what he needed. His family. I mean, maybe that is such a core part of who Jack is. And that's why he went on that long journey about his father and why it was so important to him. I mean, that is very Jack Abbott, to care about family and to want family. And that was ingrained in him very young age, at a very young age. So it was good. It was good to see Eileen Davidson. She is always lovely. I loved that Y&R built us a French bistro set for this meeting. I did think it was a little cheesy though, how they made sure to have that accordion music playing in the background just to let us know that we were in France. Is that a thing? Can anyone in France tell me, or anyone who's been to France, tell me, do they actually play that accordion music in the background at every restaurant all of the time? Or is that just a total cliche at this point for the benefit of derpy Americans like me? I am so angry and disappointed and heartbroken. I am not even going to sugarcoat this for you. I cannot believe that Traci broke up with Cane before their relationship even really got started. I don't get it. Why? Why? She never even gave a single reason as to why. Okay, I know that relationships do frequently end with a lot of unanswered questions. But Cane didn't even bother to ask. He just stood there with this dumb smile on his face after pouring his heart out to her and getting rejected. Traci knew that he was interested in her. Come on. He kissed her, for crying out loud. They went to the carnival together. They were talking on the phone for hours. She was fantasizing about him, and she still let him tag along with her to New York City, to her book party, only to call it just friends right when things were getting good. I am so ticked off about this. When I saw that episode, I was sitting on the floor looking up at my TV going, no. I felt it in my heart and in my soul. No. This was the story that was like in intriguing and new and fresh to me. It was tailor-made for me. I love Traci and I love Cane. Bringing them together was so unexpected and so different, and it made me feel good and hopeful, and now it's just friends. I know that we've done Traci and Cane polls in the past, but I want to do another one. I want to know if I'm the only one that really feels disappointed about this, or do you think that Traci and Cane are better off as just friends? Go to yrchat.com and tell me I'm wrong, that Traci and Cane were never gonna work, and I just need to get over it. Or tell me that I'm right and you feel the same way that I do, which is totally betrayed. And frankly, kind of mad at Traci, to be honest with you. She stands there and she tells Cane, I hope that you don't feel in any way like I was using you. Well, now I feel like she was. She was using him for his hot bod and his killer smile as an inspiration for her romance novel. And then when the book was done, she was done with him. She knew what was going on. She knew what the score was. If she was going to call it off, she should have called it off after the kiss. Cane even gave her a chance to back out of that trip after Billy found out that they were going on it together. Gave him hell right in the middle of a public restaurant in front of Jill. See, I thought that Jill was going to find the relationship between Cane and Traci suspicious, or at least that she was going to be skeptical about it. But no, she was not only supportive of Cane, but she defended him to Billy. And I thought, oh, well, the stars are aligning here. And then Cane goes to the Abbott mansion to tell Traci all about that interaction, gives her a chance to just go on the trip alone, and she reassured him that she wanted him there. All the while, he's giving her love eyes. He is at her door like a puppy dog, waiting to come on in. Carrying her bags for her, doing everything for her. I didn't even realize that Cane and Traci were going to New York City together. Like, I thought they were talking casually about meeting up there sometime, but they took the same flight together. They stayed in the same hotel together. They were together. She was leading him on. Traci, that vixen siren, was leading poor Cane on. Luring him to New York City under the guise of a sexual tryst. Only to turn him down cruelly and coldly after she got what she wanted from him, disposing him like he was a piece of trash on the streets of New York City. Oh. He wouldn't have gone there if it wasn't for her, although apparently Charlie is living in New York City now. He's working an internship. I don't know when that happened. I thought that he was moving closer to Lily to go to college, and now he's just in the big cities, in the Big Apple. So I guess we won't be seeing him again for another couple years until he comes back as a different actor, which is also disappointing because I really liked the actor who played Charlie. I thought he was a big star. I thought he had a lot of potential on the show. It's just a week of disappointments for me, I suppose. Cane and Traci go to New York together. Cane's carrying her bags, bringing her bagels from her favorite bagel shop, where apparently she is so well known that all Cane had to do was say the name Traci, and he was given the royal treatment at this bagel shop. Wow! In all of New York City, Traci Abbott is the Traci. They just knew. They just knew Traci. Oh, Traci. Well, that must be Traci Abbott. Well, here's all the bagels you want. Bagels, bagels, bagels. May these bagels help you win Traci's heart and affection. Maybe those bagels were cursed. I mean, I think the point about her saying that I liked was that Traci was telling the story to Cane about the bagel shop, that she could go there and she could just be Traci. She doesn't have to be Traci Abbott. She was remarking about how she really enjoys the anonymity of being in New York City and the fact that she doesn't have to be an Abbott and this glaring family name that she's had to live with. It's so blinding in Genoa City being an Abbott, but in New York City she's able to be anonymous. And even though we never technically left the whole hotel room or the hallway, I was liking getting the idea that Traci and Cane were there together, kind of sharing that anonymity. Like, in New York City, they could just be two regular people, and it didn't matter what their age difference was or their physicalities were or whatever. They were just two people, like two people. They didn't have to be Cane Ashby and Traci Abbott. They were just two, Traci and Cane, in New York City, being together, enjoying each other's company. I was freaking into it. Then they attended the book party, dressed in their 1940s attire. Cane put on one final sexy fedora hat for me. And Traci put on a hat that looked like a fortune cookie on top of her head. We didn't get to see the party. We just saw, after the party was over, Cane walking Traci back to her hotel room like a total date, because it was. He was gushing over her, talking about how amazing it was seeing her in her element, shining bright, being the star of her own show. And he was talking to her about her life and how beautiful she was. And he was asking her questions about herself and why she started closing herself off to people. And Traci had this like renaissance moment where she just, it escaped out of her, talking about how after Colleen died and after Steve left her, that she just started not wanting to let anybody in, and she just started becoming very focused, and like she wasn't focusing on her social life. And it was so beautiful because she was crying during the whole thing, and it was like these tears of sorrow and tears of joy, and I was really encouraged by the fact that she felt comfortable sharing all of this with Cane. But she did not invite Cane back into her hotel room that night. And I noted that. There was a distinct moment where she opened up the door and looked at him, and I know he was thinking, am I gonna get to come in there? Do I get to come in? I'm gonna have a little nightcap? And she didn't leave it open very long. I mean, it was very clear that she was like, nope, okay, goodbye, good night. She did not let him in the door. And I can only imagine that she closed that door behind her, and she probably like, you know, like had a moment of like, ooh. And I just wonder if she went back into the room that night, you know, started thinking, and maybe that's when she made a decision to end things, because she seemed a little different the next day. And I again ask you, why? Why did she decide to end things? She was just talking about how she made the mistake of closing herself off to people, and now here she is closing herself off to the possibility, just the possibility of having a relationship with Cane. I could understand if she would have told him, whoa boy, you need to slow down a little bit. Let's go slow. That's what I need. Because Cane was talking about having a life together and having a future together, like Cane was saying, us and our life and our future, and it was way forward. But it also, I think, speaks to how far apart they were in their understanding and interpretation of what this relationship was. He's thinking about the future, probably selling that house and moving in with Traci, getting a place with her or something. And Traci's thinking, nah, just friends? Nah, I'll just pass on this incredibly hot guy who I've been fantasizing about for months. This makes no sense to me. Ugh, I just got myself so worked up. I had to take a break. I have a headache now. I was so tense that I was like squeezing my thighs. My muscles hurt now. My thigh muscles hurt now. My thigh muscles hurt from talking about Cane and Traci. I just feel offended, I think, that someone had an opportunity to sleep with Cane and didn't take it. What could she possibly be thinking? Traci is like every woman. She's like me, you know? And she had this opportunity to snag the hot guy, and she chickened out. I'm so disappointed in her. I wonder if it's just because of fan response or what. That's why I'm interested to see the poll again, because I just want to know if did they change any minds? You know, I don't know. I'm so upset. I need to move on. My whole day is ruined. Oh, I'll talk about something else. Did you notice that Heather Tom directed Wednesday's episode with Cane and Traci in New York? Heather Tom, her character on The Bold and the Beautiful, Katie, had a May-December romance of her own with Wyatt not that long ago, and I felt very similarly about them breaking up. I did not want, I don't know, do I like the older woman, younger man dynamic? Maybe. I didn't want to see them break up. I really liked them together. I had to break up with The Bold and the Beautiful, though, a few months ago. The storyline about Hope having her baby stolen and given to Steffi, it just dragged out for too long. There was no progress on it whatsoever, and I just wasn't into it enough anymore to keep going. Plus, Y&R keeps me pretty busy these days. But it is always nice to be able to casually pop over and see our former Y&R stars on our sister soap. Heather Tom used to play Victoria, and you know, they also have a new guy playing Thomas, who used to be on Y&R. He was Summer's husband, Austin, and I really didn't care for Austin when he was on Y&R, but it kind of looks like whatever's going on with him, with him as new Thomas on The Bold and the Beautiful, looks like it could be good. Seems sort of dark and twisted, so maybe now would be a good time to dip back in. I think the thing I miss the most about Bold and the Beautiful, though, is Don Diamont. Dollar Bill Spencer, formerly known as Brad Carlton, who was married to Traci, and thus we have come full circle back to Traci. She was married to Brad, who was another hot man. I don't know why everybody acts like Traci's some dumpy girl who can't get a man. She's been linked to two of my sexiest men in daytime, Brad and Cane. Are we going to be getting a second Society restaurant? Society 2, perhaps? Because Abby approached Phyllis this week about setting up another restaurant inside of the new hotel that Phyllis is building with Adam. And Phyllis said she'd think about it. She was non-committal, but I bet she'll say yes. So, new set on the way, fingers crossed. Well, I must say, Abby is doing a bang-up job at Society 1, Society the First. I am hearing nothing but good things about the food and the service. Abby hosted the food and drink at the Newman family dinner party, and everything looked scrumptious. It looked like the ladies were eating rigatoni and the men had steaks. I really noted that and laughed because Victor was digging into his plate, looking like he had a big juicy steak right there in front of him, and yet he spent minutes trying to saw in half a piece of asparagus. I was like, go for the meat, man. You cannot tell me someone sets a big old juicy steak in front of you and the first thing you go for is the asparagus. Do you think that's fake meat? Is that why? I bet it's fake meat. I bet that some of the items on the plate are real and some of the items on the plate are fake, because you probably can't bring out fresh steaks, right? So they give them a fake steak that looks all juicy and real, because the steak's gonna look bad in a couple of minutes anyway, but we gotta make it look visual and presentable. So I bet the steak was fake and they just told the actors beforehand, like, what's real and what's fake. What you can go ahead and nibble on, the asparagus, go ahead and nibble on that, cut that up, pretend to eat it, but the steak is plastic. So just know. Anyway, the dinner party was good, except for the part where Victor tried to dismiss everyone halfway through the meal. Like, people got a fork in their mouth full of that pasta, and Victor's like, all right, everybody, good night. See you later. Otherwise, I thought that he was in good spirits. He was very complimentary to his children, even Abby. He was, for once, approving of his daughter's boyfriend, yes. Nate is now Nikki and Victor's doctor by day, and Abby's doctor by night. I like that Nate bought Cane and Lily's house. The idea of him tooling around in the yard, riding on a riding lawnmower is adorable to me. And it also kind of makes sense that Abby would be comfortable there and encouraging him to move in. Lily was Abby's best friend, so Abby's probably hung out there many times. And I'm sure she's gonna be hanging out there many times in the future, helping Nate christen all of the rooms. Are they sleeping together though? Are they sleeping together yet? Though, I don't think that we've seen a lovemaking scene between them, but I bet that's coming. Well, we know that Elena and Devon are sleeping together. They had a very hot and heavy lovemaking session. I think it was on Friday or maybe it was Thursday. I don't know. They seemed sweaty. They seemed happy. They seemed into each other. They were all wrapped up in that fur blanket on his bed. There is nothing that I love more than on a hot summer night making love with a big fur blanket right in between us. That fur blanket, you're gonna need to do something with that afterwards. But I've always noted that big fur blanket in Devon's living room, and apparently they brought it up to the bedroom and allowed it to get all intertwined in them. I'm not gonna lie, I had to buy a fur blanket after I saw that scene. I gotta try that. It sounds wonderful. They were celebrating though a homecoming. It's so interesting that there was like two sort of homecoming stories this week. But Devon had asked Elena to move in with him. Wait, what? She already, well, who cares? Really, Devon should have just been more specific about the whole thing. Rather than asking Elena to move into the penthouse, he should have just up front asked her if she wanted to move in to his bedroom. Last week, Jack walked into the Society 1 restaurant and he sat down next to Victor and he started having a conversation, started having a drink, and he raised up his glass at the end of that scene and he says to Victor, "Here's mud in your eye." And he takes a drink of his cocktail. "Here's mud in your eye." That was our quote from last week. I just have not heard that in a long time. It's a salute that you would say as you're kind of giving a little toast, like sort of like bottoms up. Here's mud in your eye. I have no idea what it means. I probably should have Googled its actual meaning or something, but it struck me. I just haven't heard it in forever, and it's almost backhanded in a way. Here's mud in your eye. Yeah, I noted it. Several of you noted it too. Keisha, Anna, Susan, Henry, Jamie D, Nancy, Ambreen, Tommy, Janice, Justin, Diana, and Bon. Yeah, it was a funny little moment. I think a lot of people were cued into that scene with Jack and Victor. It's hard not to be. I mean, they are two really great dynamic actors. How about a new quote for this week? Here's a weird one. What are you, a robot? Who said it? What are you, a robot? That one might be a challenging one. If you think you know who said it though, go to yrchat.com, and if you get it right, I will give you your shout out on next week's Y&R Chat. Let's get into some comments. Well, first up, Leslie says, I'm pretty sure I know what this week's quote will be. Ooh, did I get it right? Did I pick the right quote that everyone was anticipating me to pick? I don't think so, I bet. I feel like there's a quote out there that I should have got that I didn't get. I feel not cued into my own alliness right now. Leslie, tell me what you think the quote was. I think someone else, Gary, was it Gary, had said, yeah, we all know what it'll be, but I don't even know. Well, that's kind of funny. You guys are starting to think like me. Tell me, and then I'll hear it. Better yet. Give me the quote, but don't tell me who said it. How about I need to do some who said it. So give me respond on that post. Tell me what you think it was, and I'll guess who I think said it, and I'll let you guys know next week. Well, I almost hesitate to get back into this Traci and Cane topic because it just got me so worked up. But I do want to relay what the other comments were of the week. Well, first starting out with all of the things that happened prior to the breakup, Colleen says, Traci and Cane's story has really grown on me. It's every soap watcher's dream, isn't it, for the gorgeous, mischievous male lead to fall in love with you? Cane has stepped right into Traci's fantasy. Colleen, see, I think that's why it feels like such a betrayal. I love the way that you have stated this, that it's every soap watcher's dream to have this happen. And it just feels like, well, wait a minute, this was getting ready to be our dream come true, and it just got cruelly tossed away. I said weeks ago that if the Traci and Cane relationship wasn't going to work out, then she would have to break up with him. They could not show Cane being like, nah, and dumping her. That just would have looked bad on Cane. So I guess I'm not surprised in terms of story that she would break up with him, but it just feels like there was no lead up to it. I mean, not only did Cane step right into Traci's fantasy, but Cane came right out of Traci's fantasy. What is her motive for not wanting to pursue that? Even Sandra says, Cane is so much fun to watch in his scenes with Traci. I can actually understand what he's saying. I'm liking this Cane with his smiling face. It's funny, Sandra, because I do always think about you having trouble understanding what Cane is saying. He's a low talker, and he doesn't accentuate his words very well. But it's interesting that Traci was able to work that out of him. Just nothing else, apparently. Gary says, what I would give to have attended that party. Seeing Traci as the belle of the ball for once would have been worth the price of admission. Y&R, you blow it. All of that dressing up for nothing. The literary world has sent Cane over the moon. Take a flying leap from an author's inspiration to Shady Acres High School's new history teacher. fulfill Allie's dream for Genoa City. The students will completely connect with you. Oh, well, so now that Traci has sent Cane back, and maybe he can become Genoa City's newest teacher. I mean, we did hear him actually acknowledge Sam this week. Well, okay, well, first of all, I agree that it would have been nice to see the party. I suppose it is a little disappointing that we never left the hotel. But I think that's also a symptom of Y&R having decided that they're not moving forward with it. Why bother to go build a set and show a big old party if they're just gonna pull the rug out from under the viewers right after? The other question is, okay, what becomes of Cane now? I mean, they're probably not gonna make him a teacher. My teacher would be nice, but a teacher. So what happens to him? I mean, that was one of my first thoughts too, when it seemed like the relationship was going to end. I predicted last year that they were gonna kill this character. I did not believe that Cane was gonna be around very much in 2019. There's just nothing connecting him to anyone else. Nothing. He has no job that's like that we see on screen. He's got some mystery job working for rehabilitation, and we'll never see it. We have no sense of that. He's got no children in town, no wife, no house. Traci was the story they were building. So what now? Unless, is there any chance that they're gonna turn it around? I didn't get the sense that maybe she would change her mind. I didn't get that at all, but is there any chance she's gonna change her mind? Because otherwise, what's left? All right, well, let's now get into the post-Traci Cane breakup comments. Diana says, I can't believe Traci is not wanting a romantic relationship with Cane. I'm thinking that she doesn't want to continue dating Cane as she thinks it will not be a long-lasting relationship. She probably believes that Cane is in a vulnerable place right now and doesn't want to fall in love with Cane and get her heart broken. I have to admit, I was very disappointed when Traci was telling Cane that they are friends and will be friends when they get back to Genoa City. I wish Traci would give a little more as to why she feels this way, as we know she's attracted to Cane. I was really hoping for their relationship to continue to progress romantically. The thought of them just being friends now is kind of boring. I can't help my feelings on that. This is the problem. There was no explanation from Traci. It was just, no, we're friends. When we as the viewers have watched her lusting for him and wanting him. I mean, she had to take herself out of a party because she was so overcome. She had to walk out into the alleyway at I can't remember which party it was, that she was there with Cane, where he specifically asked her on a date. I mean, he said, do you want to be my date to this party? I think it was Neil, the stage dedication or something at Society. And he said, do you want to be my date to the party? He takes her as his date to the party, and she's just so like got the hots for him that she has to escape out the fire door. I'm surprised she didn't pull the fire alarm to get out of there. Like, it was overwhelming for her how much she was taken with him. And then when she has the opportunity to take him, she doesn't take it. You cannot argue to me, anyone, that Traci did not know that Cane wanted her. I mean, they'd been on dates, they'd kissed, blah, 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 blah. So what was she doing in New York? Why didn't she just say something to him prior? Or why didn't she establish with him before they got on the plane? Hey, I just want you to know that this is a friends trip. Like, you and I are friends. She never addressed the kiss. They just went, oh, never mind, oh. And they were like still talking on the phone and stuff after. Leslie says, I sure wouldn't want to get naked in front of Cane. I've been propositioned by young men and I think, thanks, but heck no way I'm going to be undressing around you. And Anna says, I totally agree that there is not a dark enough that would make me get undressed in front of Cane. So is that what it is? Do you think Traci was self-conscious about being with a younger, hot, sexy, bod man? See, the thing is that Y&R hasn't established this. They give us absolutely no reason. I personally would have no problem whipping off my clothes in front of Cane. And I got issues. Like, I've got a whole kinds of body issues. I mean, I was 100 pounds heavier several years ago, and I'm not like super proud of where I am right now, but I would whip my clothes off faster than you could say, let's do it. Like, if I had an opportunity to be around Cane, I'm Traci in this situation. I have an opportunity to like go through with it. I'm gonna do it. I mean, she should be at a place in her life, I would think, that she's feeling so good. She was saying to Cane about how she felt like he gave her this feeling of value for herself. Well, why would you not want to continue to follow through with that? I mean, all a relationship for them would be extending it sexually. Why didn't she want to extend it sexually? Because all of the support and all of like the emotional elements of a relationship are already there. I mean, when you take something from friends to romance, it's just it's a sexual extension. So what is the freaking problem? Do you think she's got like some body issues? And if so, can we talk about it? I think that Y&R started this storyline and the fans didn't like it, and they were being probably derogatory toward the actress about it, and probably derogatory at the show about it, and they just decided, nah, let's just end it. And I'm just back here waiting in the wings, like I had my little Cane and Traci banner on, like little flag on a flagpole, and I'm waving it, Cane and Traci all the way, and now I'm just stuck here with this flag and no payoff. Well, Gary says, you don't need Traci to explain it to you. You have it figured out for yourself. To coin a phrase, Traci knows eye candy, Cane, will make you sick. Unfortunate, but Lauren Fenmore destroyed Traci's sexual self-confidence moons ago when they were teens, competing, screaming, and fainting over Danny Ramalotti. Go figure. Is that it? Like, she was saying, though, that she was feeling confident, more confident because of him. The mystery is just not explained, but I did like that because it was Phyllis that said that to Summer. Eye candy is real good and tasty, but it will make you sick. Cane's more than eye candy, though. Well, no, maybe he's not. Okay, I gotta reality check myself. He is eye candy. He's not a good husband. And if Traci felt like, okay, well, Cane's got some issues. You know, he's cheated on Lily. He's got a whole shady past. Then Traci should have said it. And if not to Cane, then to us. She should have been seen having a conversation with Jack or somebody where she was opening up about the reason why. Maybe we'll get that. Maybe we'll get there. All right. Well, one final comment then about Cane and Traci. Anna says, the show couldn't find Traci a more flattering dress for that party. Seriously, Beth Maitland is beautiful and they need to really give her some clothes that have some pizzazz. I think they gave her an unflattering pattern and an unflattering dress. I just felt bad because I thought that those were some nice scenes between her and Cane. I wish they dressed her up a little bit more. Okay, well, I have to agree about that. And especially the dress that Traci was wearing, the cut didn't bother me, but the pattern was muted. Like, she didn't look like a star. She didn't look like the star of the party. She looked like a wallflower. Or she looked like the wallpaper, more like. It's just the print was not good. Oh, but by the way, happy birthday, Anna. Anna left me a message saying that she bought herself a brand new car for her birthday on a whim, drove by the dealership, saw a bright orange convertible Volkswagen Beetle, and then went back and bought it that night. Ooh! Well, congratulations. I know nothing about cars. I know what a Beetle is, but I couldn't imagine it being convertible. So I Googled your car to see what that must look like. I mean, it's gorgeous and beautiful. Is orange your favorite color? A bright orange car I would love that. My favorite colors are red and orange and yellow, and I could see myself being drawn to a beautiful bright orange car. I want to see a picture of you driving that car around town with the wind, with the convertible down, and the wind blowing through your hair, with Billy riding shotgun and Adam hanging out in the back. That's my birthday wish for you. Okay, for all of you people who are like, okay, Allie, I'm over Traci and Cane. Can we stop talking about it? Yes. Let's just move on to Jack and Ashley. Leslie says, I adored the scenes with Jack and Ashley. I hope that they are really going to stick with it and not have it be a red herring with Jack doing something stupid to screw it up. I know that they've been very competitive in the past, but I always think of the Abbotts as really putting family first, not just saying it like Victor. Yes, Leslie, that was, I think, one of the big problems that I had with that storyline from last year, because one of the things I love most about the show was always the contrast of the Newmans and the Abbotts. Everybody talks about family first and doing it for the family, but the Abbotts actually had a sense of bonding together and being a healthy family unit. And it was contrasted with the dysfunctional family in the Newmans. And it just seemed like when the Abbotts became dysfunctional, there was just nowhere to look for a little bit of a family stability on the show. So I did like seeing them back together as healthy siblings and maybe even friends. I don't think Jack's gonna do anything to mess it up. He was at the campus for My Beauty, so I suppose there is a possibility that he would have seen something or taken a picture of something, but I don't think that's where they're going. I don't know where they're going. It seems like Y&R's been teasing for months that there's something new coming down the pipe for Jack's character, but I still don't know what it is. But I'm leaning toward thinking it's gonna be positive. Call me optimistic, I guess. Leanne says, I had to laugh. On Tuesday, Jack was wearing a purple tie. This brought me back to 2015 with the Jack and Marco storyline when it was made clear that he would never wear one. Every time Jack wears a purple tie, from here to infinity, we will be thinking about Marco. It was just such a thing, like the thing that made, I think it was Victor or something. No, it wouldn't have been Victor, duh. It's the thing that made someone realize that Jack wasn't Jack, that he was a doppelganger Marco, was the fact that he was wearing a purple tie that day. And Jack Abbott would never wear a purple tie. And now it's like nothing but purple ties. Well, ugh. Laura asks, is Delia still alive? That's the question. I mean, that's a question. I hope not, but that is the question. What is going on with the Billy and Delia thing? I hope we get some progress on that next week, some clue or something. Jamie says, I saw that we're gonna have some more mysterious things written on the wall from Delia, and I'm wondering, am I the only one who is like disturbed by this haunting? It makes me think back, well, first of all, to how sad it was to lose Delia, but also when Sharon was haunted by Mariah. I know it turned out to be great because we got Mariah, but she was older and not a little tiny one. So I don't know if we're gonna see like an Adam manipulation angle here trying to get Billy or what. Where is the story going? I just don't know. It better be good otherwise, because it's just gonna end up super creepy. That's interesting that you brought that back to Mariah. Yes, that's why I think it's gaslighting. And it's interesting that you are kind of honing in on that there too, that it does have some remnants of Victor hiring Mariah to make Sharon think she was seeing her daughter. Just something about, you know, I just don't believe that that Delia would still be alive. How could she still be alive and not have contacted her parents for all of these years? There's just something that feels more sinister about it, like someone is trying to make Billy think he's crazy. I, of course, have my theory that it could be Chance. I suppose it could be someone like Chloe. Who else would have a motive to do that? I don't know. I can't see it being Adam, because Adam has had mostly apologetic interactions with Billy. I do think that Adam feels remorse and sorrow for what happened with Delia. I don't think he's phoning that in. I think that he hates himself, and I think a lot of what his behavior is now is because he hates himself for his decisions and the actions and consequences of what happened that night. So I don't think Adam would be the one who would be trying to mess with Billy. And I think that maybe if Adam had an ally thinking he was helping him, that could be the case. I just don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, well, let's talk about good old Lola here. Zuberplex says, Allie, you threw out the question to the chatters over what direction we would like to see Kyle and Lola as a couple go. I think that Kyle and Lola were meant to be star-crossed young lovers that we're supposed to root for. The one thing that seems to be missing on The Young and the Restless is romance, particularly youthful romance. And Kyle and Lola were meant to fulfill that vacuum on the show. As a result, despite whatever obstacles this couple may confront, I think they'll eventually get married, and we as viewers will be assuaged into perceiving Kyle and Lola as the new star couple of the show, in as much as Nick and Sharon were a star couple in their time. It is summer, Superplex, and Y&R does like to have a summer romance for, you know, the teens and the kids who are home from school to kind of see and cue into. That's what happened to me in 1993. Never went back. I mean, that was a romance wasn't exactly what pulled me in, but I think a lot of people do. I think they have youth storylines that they are trying to bring to the forefront in the summer in order to snag those viewers who may be home watching TV. So I think you're right that that's probably what the purpose of Kyle and Summer's little romance is. But you also make a point that Theo and Summer are actually a more interesting couple than Kyle and Lola. And I have to agree. Theo and Summer have this weird dynamic between them where they can be themselves. That feels more comfortable to me somehow. That, like, for instance, that last scene they had in the kitchen after Summer overheard Lola and Theo talking, and Theo saying about how Kyle was a party boy in New York City. Summer comes into the room and she questions him a little bit lightly, and he gives his response and then says, you know what, you and me, we got the relationship here. Well, let's meet me in my hotel room. And he actually, it wasn't a meet, he gave her a direction, like, my hotel room, 5 minutes. And Summer said, nope, I got an engagement. I'll see you later. I mean, I just liked that it's not that they are falling over themselves or betraying themselves in any way to be together. It seems mutual and it seems honest, whereas Kyle and Lola seem like they have a hard time getting on the same page. Like, they're afraid that honesty is somehow going to destroy their relationship, when just being honest and being yourself should be the thing that cues you into the fact that it's a good relationship and that propels the relationship forward into the future. Laura says, Lola's insecurity makes her boring. She's as high maintenance as Mia was. Chronic insecurity in a person is annoying in real life, yet boring on TV. It's one of the worst personality traits that one can have. There's never moving on with life. Stuck, stuck, stuck. So, okay, so do we think that Lola is being insecure right now? Yes, I think that Lola is being insecure right now. But I think that, I know that I can identify with that a little bit, because I'm not chronically insecure, but I know that there have been relationships where I felt insecure, and it's a yucky feeling, and I think it's relatable. I think it makes Lola relatable, but I think it makes her boring. I think you're right that it makes her boring. I guess she's just intended to kind of be a sweetheart, you know, the sweetheart of the show. As Superplex said, like the Nick and Sharon, they're just supposed to be a nice couple. Not everyone can be Summer. You know, not every character can be dynamic and bold and big and brash. I don't dislike Lola, I really don't. Like I said, I do find her relatable. I feel very cued into what her relationship with her parents is and where she's coming from with Kyle, but I feel like Lola is trying to squeeze Kyle into a box. And the reason that Kyle is not being fully honest with her about whatever happened in New York is because he's afraid that being honest is going to destroy their relationship. And that's not right. That's not good. That's not a healthy place to enter into a marriage from. Oh, how about that moment where Lola has a little meeting with Ray, and he can just tell immediately that something's off with her, and he just looks at her and says, "What's Kyle done this time?" That was a really great moment. I screen capped Ray's face in that moment. He's a really good actor. He gave a little person, he raised his little eyebrow and looked at her like, It was really cute. I like Ray. And Shakona likes Ray. Shakona says, "Hubba hubba, Ray Rosales, please hold me." Ray's gym wear makes me want to hit the gym with him. And I don't even like the gym. The way those pants fit him. If I am wrong for lusting, then I don't want to be right. Put me in cups, Ray. Oh, Shakona, you want to hit more than just the gym with Ray. You might want to hit the sheets. And I'm with you. I'm totally with you. Ray's a good looking man. But Superplex says, "Ray, Sharon is just too much woman for you. She needs several men at a time. Adam, Nick, and you. Live with it." Ooh, yes. Sharon's just not going to be happy unless she has all the attention from all the men. I can tell you what Sharon would have done in that situation with Cane. Sharon would have opened up the hotel room door and let him in. Oh, well. Hey, actually, Superplex also reminded me of something, saying, if memory serves me right, I believe Victor paid Lauren back the money that Chelsea stole from Fenmore's. You owe Victor a lot, Chelsea. I'd forgotten about that, but I think you're right. So this is interesting because, Chelsea has said she literally said she's been on the run for a year, worried that Victor was going to find her. And yet you do make a good point that Victor had paid Lauren. I think he kind of did it for his own reasons. He wanted Chelsea to keep that paternity secret at the time, I believe. But yeah, I guess that adds a little bit more backstory. Chelsea and Victor were not enemies until it came to the issue of the paternity, I think. Leslie says, it just occurred to me that Chelsea doesn't want to establish a connection between Connor and Adam because somebody may try to contest the validity of Calvin's will by nullifying Connor's adoption, and if they get a hold of that tape. Oh, well, Chelsea did have a conversation with Anita this week. And I can't remember exactly, darn, I'm mad at myself because I can't remember exactly what was being said. I think, though, that Anita was asking Chelsea about the will. So I think you might be right, Leslie, that the will is hanging out in the background. Nobody's talking really about it yet, but it's there. We got to follow the money when it comes to Chelsea and when it comes to Akan and probably when it comes to Anita. And if Anita was asking about a will, that means Chelsea stands to inherit. And if Chelsea stands to inherit, then she does have a reason for wanting to keep up the Grieving Widow Act. And that would be her reason for not wanting to fall right on into Nick's arms and create any kind of illusion of impropriety. Well, then what's she doing in Genoa City? If she's just waiting for that will to kick in, then go on back to Louisiana, wait till you get your check, and then come back to Genoa City and hook up with Nick. If that's what you want to do. Sandra says, when the custody battle between Nick and Adam over Christian finally gets into court, I want the judge to order a DNA test. Christian's parentage has been too muddied in the past. A judge would be foolish not to request another test. Who knows, there could be a twist in the results after all. I don't think they're going to do it, though. I would like that. I would like that. I think that's a good answer to the story. Another paternity test, make it be Nick's, custody battle, poof, goes away. But I don't think they're gonna do it. I just got a bad feeling. Gary says, oh no, porn photos of the judge. Oh my. Okay, so I think this is interesting because my initial assumption about those photos was that Adam somehow caught the judge in a sexual situation. But I specifically went back to hear what everybody had said about those photos, what Kevin said, what Michael said. Kevin just said compromising photos. And Michael, it's kind of interesting that when Michael was commenting on those photos to Adam, he said, wow, this is not the judge's greatest angle. Yours either. And I thought, oh, okay. That's why I had to rethink it, because okay, I assumed those were sexual photos. And Michael's almost saying that maybe Adam's in the photos. Like maybe the photos are of the judge and Adam. Now, it could be something like a bribe. Like maybe Adam lured the judge into a bribe and then photographed it. It is a good question, though. What exactly did Adam get on the judge? Because if it is sexual and Adam was in the photos, then we are operating on a whole nother level. Because also the judge was a guy. From the previews of next week's show, unless that's an arbitrator or a new judge, it was a guy. I just think that there was a little bit of an ambiguity there. And maybe it wasn't intentional. Maybe it was intentional, but I think it was kind of amazing because remember Rafe? Y&R fans don't really dig into that particular little story too much, but remember Rafe, I think his name was, well, I don't remember what his last name was, but he was a young attorney in town who, we'll just say Adam had a quid pro quo with, a little arrangement there. Well, moving on, Daisy had also commented on hoping that there would be another DNA test twist. But here's another comment from Daisy. I wonder if Chance is working undercover to gain information on crooked gambling rings. I think he'd be using his real name, though, so that the criminals know he comes from money, yet they're unaware that he's not really one of them. If this happened, I think Adam would have been unforeseen and not involved in Chance's undercover work, hopefully not part of the criminals under investigation. Although I do wonder if Adam is the reason Chance hasn't been heard of. Or heard from, sorry. You never know with Adam. Yeah, I mean, I think that it is a good question, though. Like, is Chance working with Adam or is he working against Adam? We still don't know what that connection is, and it's still driving me crazy. Mary Ann says, I wonder if Michael will become the DA again as part of a sting with Kevin to bring down Adam. Well, that is kind of interesting because Adam did mention last week about that DA position that he is wanting to buy. And then we know Michael and Adam are making a bargain of some kind next week. So is it possible that Michael's path is to becoming the DA? I hope not. I don't want to see Michael prosecuting people. I like Michael being the defender. And I'm just not happy with him this week at all. My favorite characters on the show have betrayed me this week. Michael and Traci. I'm going to have to push the reset button and find some new favorite characters, I think. Marianne also says, as for Victor, I don't like this story with all of his illness since we've had enough of that when JT pushed him down the stairs and he was hospitalized in the early months of 2018. I'm not invested in the story because if it's temporary, it'll probably be gone by Labor Day with Victor back at the office. If it's permanent, I feel Y&R has bigger problems in the future because at his worst, Victor is easier to relate to as a patriarch than Victoria as a matriarch. She is no Catherine Chancellor either. I guess they would need to bank as many Jill scenes as possible or the actress will agree to because Jill is more like Kay than Victoria. Yeah, I know that's the thing. And Victor's illness is either going to be gone in a flash, or this is it. And I just don't think this is it. But, you know, you do make a good point about what happens when it is it. I think of Nikki as being, I mean, nobody's like Catherine. But I guess I think of Nikki as being more of the patriarch, but she's not, I mean, I don't know how old she is. But, yeah. I know, there really are, the only Newman who is really fit to take on any kind of legacy that Victor would be leaving is Adam. And I don't know, I just still think that they're being a little destructive and careless and loose and fast and free with how they're writing this character of Adam. He still needs more heart. I know it's there. I'm looking for it. I'm ready for it. Ooh, here's a fun little story from our very own Y&R chatter, Diana, saying, Allie and the chatters, I am thrilled to finally be able to say that I was able to meet the one and only Eric Braeden. Yes, the great Victor Newman. Oh, Diana, I am so excited for you. Honestly, I would love to meet him, but at the same time, I think I would fear meeting him. Like, I just would be, like, I'll be scared to be in his presence. And also, I've said before, I'd be afraid that something would go wrong that would make me think like, oh, did he say something kind of weird or what? You know, that just like, I don't want to taint my love for Victor. It's so precious for me. But it sounds like you had a really good experience. Diana says, he made an appearance in Niagara Falls, Ontario, close to Valentine's Day. It was planned as a meet and greet, a dinner, and a picture with him. He was supposed to go to everyone's private tables for all of the guests to meet him individually. It was so exciting and nerve-wracking as the hostess came over to our table and said to get our Eric Braeden menus ready for him to sign. My husband and I and the couple that we were seated with were all thinking of what we were going to say to him. I was already regretting not bringing my bar of Victor soap that Allie handmade. I would have loved to give that to him. He spent a very long time at a large group of people's tables as we waited and waited for so long. Finally, a staff member said that he was too tired and the security guards whisked him off to sit at a tall table beside the bar for fans to meet him that way. That got too crowded, so they let him off again and allowed everyone to get their picture taken with him with a background of roses that says, "An evening with Eric Braeden" in the corner. As I was waiting in line to get my photo with him, Eric Braeden looked over and did the eyebrows that he does in the opening credits. It was so cool. He never spoke, and I only said hi to him. I didn't ask for his autograph, as they told us earlier that he wasn't doing anymore. I wish I would have asked, as I'm sure he would have done it, being the nice guy that he is. But it would have been worth a try. I chickened out. Before meeting him, Eric Braeden spoke to all of the fans in the huge lobby of the hotel and spoke to the crowd, and they asked questions. It was really neat. Oh, yay. Gosh, so how did you even find out about this? So I feel like I think I would do it. I think I would still do it anyway, because I just would have to. If there was an opportunity to get a picture with him, which is so cool that you did, I just can't imagine that I'd be able to pass it up. And it's also really cool that you went with your husband and there was another couple at the table. I mean, it was neat that you were able to meet other fans, and also just to be in the presence of the great man is so incredible. How do you find out about fan events like that? Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. But I'm also so very happy for you. That's wonderful. As always, if anybody has stories about meeting our stars, I want to hear them. I mean, brag, 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 brag. You deserve it. That's just so cool. Oh, speaking of our stars, one final note. A few folks noted that this week, Lauren Lott, who plays Anna, and Sasha Calais, who plays Lola, showed up in the opening credits. Yes, I did notice that. First of all, Anna looked beautiful. I mean, she is a beautiful actress. I really like her hair long and curly, and I believe that's how it was styled. Looked really, really gorgeous. She has so much potential. I wish they would focus on her a little bit more. But my favorite was Lola. I mean, she looked really good. She was giving such a classic soap opera look. Like, it reminded me of the 90s where we had the white screen intros and the characters just flew in at you, and they were given their poses as they flew in at you, and it just, the way that Sasha did her pose, it just looked like she was turning and her hair was blowing just so. It was as if they said, "You're about to get your soap opera intro, girl, so let's make it soapy," and she delivered. I need to start practicing my soap opera intro. It needs to be like, you need to be like with your head, you need to be with your back facing the camera, and then you need to turn around and do a hair flip. Yes, I've thought about it before. Okay, you got me. I think we all need to start living a much more soap opera life. Let's make that our goal for the week. Live a little more of a soap opera life if you can. And don't forget to go to yrchat.com to tell me all about it. Feel free to use that space to talk about anything you want to. Vote in the polls, see the photos, play in the games, chat with others. I love seeing your conversation taking place throughout the week, so keep it coming. All right, everybody. I hope you have a really good week. I love ya, and I'll see you next Sunday.